Alright, check. Alright, this is coming in good now. Alright, it's Max.
Well, I mean, what should we do? Do you want us to tell you whose voice is whose so you can?
No, I know. It's fine. It's
Okay.
fine.
Well, obviously we have high expectations, because we know there's a lot of potential in the music.
Uh-huh.
It's just a matter of how people will accept it, and we're prepared, for a long career, and it's probably most important that we're at least given the tools to be able to work and
Mhm.
function as a an active band, and that's
Mhm.
the most important. Obviously, we'd like to break through and be very successful, but that's not an immediate necessity. We
Mhm.
just want to be kept busy, tour, and be given the tools and do a
Yeah.
video and stuff like that.
What about touring now? I talked to Derek and he said he doesn't want to put these on a club tour.
They want
You
to
missed your break with Rush. I'm sure Alex would have dug this. And
I mean, I think everybody's thinking the same way. Like they know that we have to be built from the ground up.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And like the core fan base
Mhm.
is going to be a major element to our
Yeah.
success, building that
Mhm.
and like maintaining the I don't know, I guess like the musical image of the band.
Mhm.
So touring is going to be fucking majorly important.
It always
But,
is, yeah.
I mean, at the same time, there's a couple of songs on the album that could possibly be radio oriented. You know what I mean?
Like wow.
Like what songs?
Mm.
Like Surrounded or
Mhm.
Another Day. You never know. I mean, they're not formulated for it, but
Yeah.
it's a possibility. It's not like the whole album is like psycho progressive and then.
To enter this market, though, you're gonna have to do "Pull Me Under" as the first song,
Yeah.
I would think.
Well, it's tough because every song is so different.
Uh-huh.
It's like the audience can hear one song on the radio but not have any idea of what the real spectrum of Dream Theater is,
Mhm.
If they're going to hear Another Day on the radio, they'll get one impression, but if they heard Pull Me Under, they'd get another.
Sure.
So it's important for people to hear a lot of different songs to realize, the diversity in the music.
Mhm. That coincides with playing live because you got the showcase on the material
Yeah.
and so forth.
But you're right. So like so far as the metal, underground or whatever, Pull Me Under is probably the
Yeah,
track that. And
sure.
Under a Glass Moon, if it would ever be played on the radio.
Uh-huh.
And then like maybe AOR oriented is like Take the Time or
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know. So
It's an interesting record to work, man. Marketing-wise, they're gonna have their hands full. How the hell did you accomplish the sound on this record, man? I heard you had some problems. You banged a little heads with Dave and his style a bit. As far as I don't know, I was talking with Derek. He said I could do things or whatever before communicating with you guys a few times, whatever. And you had some problems with that, but basically, I mean, your guitars are way up. The bass is more clear. The drums, like you hear every little. It's like, I mean, it's one of the most sonically brilliant albums I've heard. And this is what, a 6th generation tape or something you sent me,
well, I think the guitars, to tell you the truth, maybe I shouldn't be admitting this, but I had nothing to do with the sound of the guitars,
Yeah.
Between him and the engineer, they're just like psycho. Like they knew what they wanted. Like,
Mhm.
plug this and plug that in. I'm
Mhm.
just like playing, And then they would say, does that sound good? And I'm like, yeah, it's great.
So it was an overall like what was the difference between the budget in the studio and the last record to this record? Man.
It's the difference between like a gourmet dinner and a McDonald's cheeseburger. It was
What was the it's not too personal, what was the budget for this one? What did it,
Budget?
yeah, what did it wind up spending?
215.
well, the album
Really?
was the actual budget on the recording of the album was 180,000, as opposed to 25,000 from the last
Major
album.
labels, man, that's great. 215. Wow. I wanted to ask James a few things. Okay. Yeah. What I could do is you could give me his number. I could call him. I'd like to talk to him anyway. I wanted to know about like the keyboards. Your involvement with the writing and stuff. It seems like you're more of a bass than an enhancer. Shit to the writing, especially this album. Just, if you could elaborate at all on that.
Yeah, I guess I was more involved in the writing process on this album than the previous album.
But it's, I mean, all the keys sound good, man. The contributions to the keys, 2 of the songs is written around the keyboards. right? Surrounded and second song.
Wait for sleep.
Or Wait
Yeah.
for Sleep.
Well, those are-
all piano.
That was like the whole reason why you're hearing that is because that's something we never did before. Like Kev wrote Surrounded before it was written.
Yeah.
And brought it in.
I know.
And we like dream theaterized it. And he
Yeah.
wrote Wait for Sleep too. So it's like,
Well, that's what I mean.
you
It's
know what I mean? It's like you have a whole another person's perspective. You know.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the way it happened to work out as
Yeah.
far as writing orders. You know.
That's cool.
That's why you're hearing that like the more dominance.
Mm-hmm. Now you're talking about the guitars. You didn't have much to do with the thing, but don't. It's evident that you matured as a guitarist and sound-wise, but you're not taking too much credit for the sound. But
Well, so far as the guitars are concerned, like Ibanez is really cool in trying to like nail the sound that I was looking for.
Yeah.
Which they totally did because I was able to get more clarity.
Mm-hmm.
But so, like I said, so far as the sounds, like I had my boogie.
Yeah.
And, you know, but then he would use his customized Marshall,
Uh-huh.
and the engineer would do his equalization thing.
Mhm.
But they always deferred to me, like, does that sound good or whatever, and they would like compare it to, you know, Metallica and Pantera and try to see if
Mhm.
it's heavy enough.
Mm-hmm. But the
Um,
prep work
you know.
for this album is much better. It seems your preparation going in.
Well, we
Even got to add the flamenco and your solo and I'm always forgetting the name of the song.
Under a Glass Moon.
Under Glass Moon. Yeah. Keep on thinking that's the slow song or whatever. But it's well thought out solo, an excellent solo and stuff, and
Thanks.
just seems like you had a lot of time to do exactly what you wanted to do in this
You know what?
record.
You're totally right because first of all, we did a 3-song demo
Mhm.
of two of the songs that are on. We
Mhm.
had already recorded fully
Mhm.
already.
With David.
Yeah, with David.
Oh,
So
really?
we had those, and then Under a Glass Moon, just for an example, I was able to do like 4 tracks of
Mhm.
it and work it out because the original solo sucked,
Mhm.
and everybody thought it sounded like chaos. So it had to be completely worked out, you know, to rhythmically work.
You didn't piece it together, did you?
What do you mean? When I
You
recorded
just,
it?
well, yeah.
No, it was
Yeah.
just, you know, I mean, the way I did all the solos is just recorded like 7 different versions and
Mhm.
took parts of each.
Fly them in, or yeah.
Well, you know, it's this way there's like a continuity, so they didn't have to keep punching in.
Actually, as
Mhm.
far as preparation goes, that's probably one of the keys. Is because we did so many demos for these songs before we went in to do the album.
Mhm.
I mean, the year and a half that we didn't have a vocalist, we were doing 4 tracks for all the songs,
Mhm.
and then we went in and did the demos for Atco with David Prater,
Mhm.
and then right before we did the album, we did some live dats with David Prater. So I mean, we had been recording,
That's cool.
recorded this stuff over and over before we went in and did the album.
Mhm.
So we were definitely well prepared when it came to actually laying down the tracks for the album.
The arrangements on this album, more so than the first, seems like not riffs, but the arrangements, parts of each songs. You know, you got a lot of strong parts or whatever. Like if you can come up with that, trying to think of a certain part or whatever, it just seems like the beginning to that I know it's easier to look away. Which one's that?
Surrounded.
Surrounded, yeah. I mean, the intro to that, and then the what it goes into, and then the ending and stuff, and all these different parts. I mean, how do you the calculations of arrangements and stuff? I mean, it's a band thing, and it's done in rehearsals and stuff. I mean, because you have so many parts, it's like there's almost like 5 different songs in one song, and a lot of the songs, you know.
Depends on the song, though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that particular song was Kev, you know, Surrounded.
It's
It
not.
was arranged.
Yeah, well, that sounds a bad example. I'm just saying, like, if you get a part, do you say, oh, maybe we should try to fit it into this song or that song, or does
Oh,
it come
yes.
about while you're writing the song?
It's all pretty spontaneous, actually.
Yeah.
Sometimes somebody will come in with an idea, but it's not like he hands it out and then we all work on it.
Mhm.
Somebody will come in with a riff or a theme or an idea. We'll all jam on it, and then that'll spark another idea, and then
Mhm.
we'll go into another area, and turns out that the key or the time signature works real well with a theme that was
Mhm.
earlier in the song, so we bring it back.
Mhm.
But it's all pretty much spontaneously done in rehearsal amongst the 4 of us.
Mhm. And what about the lyrics? Was it James, or did you all collaborate?
No, well, James didn't write any of the lyrics.
Really?
Yeah, they were pretty much done when he joined the band.
It's
So
kinda
you
like
all
whoever-
did it?
It's like whoever feels close to the song. Like,
Mhm.
like I have a mint idea. Let me write lyrics. And
Yeah, I can't wait to see them. Because the last record, there were some that stood out, like, you know, got to admit it, whatever, you know. But this record, I mean, everything sounds good. There's no lyric. I mean, you know how the old progressive bands like Yes, you know, they say whatever they want to say, but it sounds right. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to necessarily mean
That's how I
something
thought-
that's understandable. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? But with this, I mean, it seems like every lyric, it fits perfectly. The maturity from this record to the last
It's
is
also
vast.
James's interpretation too.
Yeah.
That could be helping
Sure,
out as well.
sure.
You know, when you have a singer that has such a wide range of.
I immediately thought when I heard Another Day of possibly these guys dedicating it to Mike Mercury or something like that, Freddie Mercury. I mean, we use
Well, actually, he,
like influenced by him at all enough to consider that or whatever? Because it's, you know, I would think
It was
him
really-
hearing that, he would appreciate it, you know.
well, he
at
died
least the
actually
beginning.
while we were doing the album.
Mhm.
So there was consideration to put a mention
Yeah.
on the album. I mean, all the people that have died during the writing and the recording of this album. I mean, Freddie Mercury and Eric Carr one day.
Sure, Eric
and
Carr for you, yeah.
Stevie Ray Vaughan and Miles Davis. I mean, that
Mhm.
all happened while we were writing or recording this album.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Well, what I mentioned is I guess I'm asking, was James really influenced by him a lot, because he's got that nice, sultry, silky voice at times, you know, like Mercury, and he sounds that intro is very similar to a Mercury work, I think, you know. Now, again, like the name of the sax guy, how do you spell it, or whatever?
Beckenstein?
Beck, B-C-K-E-N, Steen.
Jay Beckinston.
Would you, when I talked to John about first single, whatever, the one I thought that would be best radio-wise or whatever, you know, modernized or whatever would be Take the Time, believe it or not. Would you ever consider editing that down, the middle part, to make it more radio-orientated?
Sure. Actually, well, it seems now that the first single will most likely be Pull Me Under. But
Yeah.
Pull Me Under was the last thing we wrote
Mm-hmm.
before we went in to do the album. That actually
Really?
almost didn't make it onto the album because it wasn't ready. And up until that song, Take the Time was like
Mhm.
the most well-rounded Dream Theater song. I mean, it had all of the elements in one. It had a catchy chorus. It had very progressive parts,
Mhm.
heavy sections, you know, melodic sections. So that was like we always considered that like our roundabout,
Mm-hmm.
or you know, like a Bohemian Rhapsody or a Carry On Wayward Son.
Mm-hmm.
At least I always thought that that was the one song in the album that fell in that old progressive vein with you know, a lot of different themes.
Yeah.
That's a possibility. I mean, like we said earlier, I mean, any of these songs have potential on their own, but they're all just so different, you know.
Yeah.
But I think Take the Time is one of the songs in the album that somebody could hear and probably get a real good idea of the band just from that particular song alone.
Mm-hmm. Did you do the edits in the beginning? The rap edits, whatever, in the beginning?
The what?
I know you were behind
Oh,
that,
the
Rob.
samples?
The beginning, yeah, the
Yeah.
samples, yeah. Yeah, they came out good. It was
Yeah.
good. But,
There's Chuck D. Who's on there? It's Chuck D. from Public Enemy, Frank
Mhm.
Zappa. There's a Beastie Boys sample.
be a good little promotional thing to do. People to figure it out.
Either that or
Whatever.
it'll be a big expense when we get sued.
Oh, I don't know about that. You know, what, you just went into
First example of
defending the legalities of all
A
that.
rock band sampling a rap.
Mm.
It's usually the way around.
One of the coolest, I don't know, man, I can't, like, begin to express my, elation of this record and everything about it. It's really great. But one of the parts I like was, in Surrendered, how he's went from that and went to, like, such a, like a boppy type of feel, you know? Know what I mean?
You mean like a more upbeat pop?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, how did he's come about? Like, you know, moving into that direction. I mean, you thought of that after the beginning? How did that come about, man?
That was just, that was the song that I arranged first.
Mm-hmm.
So that was just like a keyboard riff. We'd never done that before, where the keyboard is doing the rhythm
Mhm.
by itself.
Mm-hmm.
So it just happened to be poppy and Van Halen-ish.
Well, that's what I mean. This
Yeah.
album, you're more in the bass.
I didn't think we were gonna use it or anything. When I wrote it, I didn't think we were gonna use it. And it just somehow worked.
I swear, man, I pull my neck out every time I hear that part in Under Glass Moon, I guess, with that you know, the LP type
yeah.
of
The LP meets Voivod
Yeah.
section.
fuck boy, but it's like, yeah, that's Keith, kind of, you know, it reminds me of him or whatever, but that is like, it works, man, it works, it's so great to hear. Again, wait for sleep. The lyrics went over that. It's a generic question. Like, what nowadays? What kind of band would you describe Dream Theater as? I know you wouldn't want to pigeonhole it as metal or whatever. Just you think you fit into the progressive, you know, genre? Although there is none really now. I mean, it's hard to.
The term, the definition of the term has changed so much.
Yeah.
Like, for some reason, kids now think progressive is like.
Okay. All right, I went over this before. You was back in Rhode Island. You remember meeting, right, in Rhode Island?
Who was it? Who'd you interview?
All of yous in the parking lot. Remember we sat on the floor. Me and Paula, a girl with the long hair. She's my editor.
All
No,
of
you
us?
don't remember.
I don't remember.
Well, it was me and Kev, I
These
think.
three.
You did something.
Oh yeah, yeah, used to. That's right. Yeah. Well, anyway.
I saw Paula last night. I didn't recognize her. I felt bad.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I
She
re-
told me.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, her hair was like.
Yeah, I was like,
She's getting viciously long. I need the scoop on how you formed and when you got together. It was at Berkeley, right?
Let John
John,
describe
take
this.
care of it.
Does anyone want to read the bio?
I don't know.
Give him an edited version.
Well, we did it by me, John, and Kev played in high school together in
What high school?
Kings Park, hometown.
Kings Park?
Instead.
Oh, no, yeah, okay.
And we did that for a while, and then we went up to college. Kev went to Fredonia, and me and John went to Berkeley. And that's when we put together the three-piece with Mike in the first semester. We played for 2 semesters, course of a year, and Kev came in during the breaks and stuff, and we just did a lot of material together. We did a lot of writing, and it came together, and we decided not to go back to school.
Mm-hmm.
That's basically how it happened.
Who are your main bass influences growing up and stuff?
Geddy Lee, Steve Harris, mainly those two
Jocko
guys.
at all?
Yeah, Jocko. too.
Jocko?
Yeah, later on. I mean, it was mainly those guys that did the most for me.
Mm-hmm.
In the early
Do you use
days.
a
Now
fretless
it's,
at all?
No.
No? You don't like them?
Well, I've got a chance to buy one yet. So I will. Sometime soon.
Hmm.
We'll do our best to talk him into it.
Yeah, what number tape was James on his demo?
7 zillion. He was the last one.
Yeah,
The
well,
very last one.
I mean, you've heard around like 50 more. I mean, like the submissions to you guys. I mean, how many did you have
He
to
was
go through?
literally the last one.
Well, obviously, I know that. But I'm saying, like,
How many
how many
tapes did
did
we
you
get?
go through around?
It was
Yeah.
about, I would say, roughly 200 or so.
Oof.
I mean, I got a box at home the size of like a bass cabinet
Uh-huh.
filled with tapes. It's just ridiculous.
Hmm.
And we worked with so many singers. Worked with, well, as you know, we worked with John Arch from Fate's Warning for a
You
while.
know he's a singer in Anthrax, all right?
Get out of
No.
here.
John Bush, you mean?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh.
John Bush, yeah, he's a singer of Anthrax.
Really?
Yeah.
That's what you said before.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
Mm-hmm.
Guessed it.
Well, we worked with a lot of singers, and even went so far as to do one live show with one singer,
Mm-hmm.
and we were just about to take in this.
Oh, I heard about that.
This singer, this guy
Mm.
Chris Cintron. He was just about to join the band. We'd been working with him for a couple months, and then all of a sudden we
Like-
received James's tape,
Oh,
and
alright.
we were just like so blown away with his voice. We had to fly him out to audition him. You know, we didn't want to pass him up. We didn't want to overlook him
Mm-hmm.
because we were working with another singer.
Yeah,
And he came out, worked out great.
worked out.
Actually, we did pass him up. We turned him down.
James?
Yeah. Didn't we turn him down first? Kev called him?
And they turned him down.
Yeah, we did. We did too, man. We called up James. We were like, oh, sorry, man, but we already have a singer. And he's like, oh, alright. You know, good luck and everything. And then you guys don't remember that?
No.
Kev, you were the one who called him.
But he was pretty much what you're looking for. Obviously,
He was
right?
exactly what we
We
Yeah.
couldn't have asked for more.
What does he contribute besides his vocals?
His
I mean,
good
his
looks.
sound. Yeah.
Sex.
Well,
Well, actually, on this album, he didn't get to really contribute to the writing
Yeah.
because we had so much time to do it.
sure.
While we were looking for a singer, we took the opportunity, we took advantage of the time to write
Mhm.
everything. So by the time he joined the band, everything was pretty much written. But of course, he had a lot to do with the melodies. We worked with the melodies together.
Mhm.
Whoever wrote the particular lyrics had melodies in mind, but
Mhm.
of course James added and embellished on them a lot.
Mhm.
So that was pretty much his
Yeah.
contribution to this album.
Yeah, he did a great job. Is this scene, man, dead? Is it gonna come back or what? I mean, the permanent waves, and back and yes and
we're
progressive.
not bringing anything back. You know what
Mhm.
I mean? Because the band isn't like we're contemporary. We
Mhm.
think, it's definitely, like you said, heavy.
Mhm.
Very heavy. That's like only a recent thing.
Mm.
I think that's a major difference. Is none of the bands had that,
Mhm.
and I don't think the band sounds dated. So I think we're gonna, if anything, start something new. I really don't
Mm.
think it's a bringing back. Like a lot of people say that, but
Mhm.
it's almost like, we're not rehashing the old scene.
Yeah, it's not that you're rehashing anything, but there is a revival interest.
It seems like almost when the first album came out,
Mhm.
our first album back in '89, it seemed like there was really a movement happening again because Fate's Warning was around and Watchtower was around.
Mhm.
And bands like King Diamond and Voivod and countless others were all doing the progressive metal thing, and it seemed like it was really going to blow open then. And it's now been a couple of years and
Mhm.
nothing's really happened. But I think Queensryche has really opened the door for a band like us, and I don't think we can be perceived strictly as a progressive band.
Mhm.
I think what we're doing is definitely different than what's out there, and it could almost form a whole new genre in its own. you
Yeah.
know?
What's it gonna take to get it across to the people? Besides your,
Money.
you really think it's just a tour?
Time, money.
I mean, it's
Patience.
always a tour, man.
You know what else, Bill?
Gotta
Too?
get out to the
Like
people.
all those bands that Mike mentioned, like Voivod and Fates and King Diamond.
Well, not King Diamond.
Well, let's just say, like I don't think any of those bands had
Yeah, I'll tell them. Yeah, we're closing up now.
Yeah, put that mic back, right?
Yeah.
I don't think any of those bands had any like pop influence,
Mhm.
And like we keep mentioning Rush, Yes, Genesis, they were like eventually, ultimately, pop bands as well as progressive
I
bands.
hear you.
I think that's what's going to make the difference,
Yeah.
We can't stay in our own little world and just play like underground
Mhm.
metal and be this underground like
No,
Watchtower, like nobody knows about them, but they're amazing.
In other words, you still have a lot of room to progress.
You gotta cross
Yeah.
over, and
Yeah.
that's why you hear songs like that are accessible,
Mhm.
because those are influences of us as well.
We wouldn't be afraid to admit it. I mean, as much as we listen to all those old progressive bands, or we listen to a lot of today's heavy bands or alternative bands, but we
Mhm.
wouldn't be afraid to admit that we all listen to, Paul Simon or Billy Joel or Elton
Mhm.
John or
Oh,
Edie
sure.
Brickell, Peter Gabriel, any stuff like that. And
Mhm.
I think those influences show just as much in our music as anything else.
Mhm.
That's gonna be the difference, because we can't stay underground. We're not gonna get anywhere,
Yeah. Hmm.
So I just think it's maturity,
Yeah. All right. All right. We could. Any other points I could finish up? 'Cause this guy seems to be in a rush here.